Hey guys, welcome to the garage. We're going to show you how to assemble our slab jig today. Alright guys, we're going to show you what's included with our kit today. We got 2 aluminum extruded rails. We got them custom extruded for us. 6063 aluminum, really rigid, great extrusion. Also included in the kit, you got 2 of these aluminum angles that we machine here in Junction City. These are 1/4 inch 5052 aluminum. We machine them on our CNC, nice countersunk holes. Local guy wrinkle powder coats them blue, just gorgeous product. Very durable finish, super easy to clean, really lasts a long time. We also machine a custom router base, custom fit to most routers. It's 1/2 inch HDPE. This guy, if it doesn't fit your router base, has a different hole pattern. We're going to show you in a future video how to custom fit that to your router base. You also get 8 casters, hardware pack, and a couple of safety stoppers that we machine so you don't ruin your expensive router bits hitting the edge of our slab jig. So, all right, on to the next step. In this step, we're going to assemble our wheels. We left one off this one so we could show you how to do it. Take your wheel. Wheel actually only fits on one way, so that's pretty self-explanatory. We grab our flathead Phillips screw and we place the wheel over it, put a nut on it, and then repeat that 4 times per wheel. We'll speed this up a little bit so it doesn't take too long. After that final tightening, just repeat the same for the other side. I like to place the router sled between the rails. It kind of locks them together to where they can't rotate on you and fall away while you're trying to fix your angle. We grab our carriage bolts, little short ones with the rounded head with the square neck, and slide them in the rails. The rails have a groove that's made to hold it like a wrench, so you don't have to have a wrench on one side. Okay, slide those in approximately what you think the angle slot spacing is. And you look at your orientation, that vertical slot faces each other. I just kind of slide it till it falls over the screws. Give it a little jiggle and it'll fall down flat on the rail. On the first side, I like to flush them up with the edge of the rail so I have all my overhang on one side. Take my square and roughly square it up in this step. Then we put our nuts on. Ratcheting wrench is really handy in this particular setup. I like to pinch the square while I'm tightening the nuts just to make sure it stays square. Check your router sled to make sure it moves freely and you don't have it pinched too tight. I go ahead and double check as I go just to make sure I'm keeping it square as the nuts get tightened on. Double check and you're done. This step I've already affixed the angle just exactly like we did in the other step, and now I'm gonna flip and hook it to the table. Make sure you have a nice square table. I use 2x4s in this on the sides of my table, and I got them really nice and square. You know, cross measure, make sure everything's nice. Got them a little too tight, but it goes. This you have to pull the rails towards you to get your angle kind of tightened up to your table. And I'm checking for how good my slider slides. I don't want too much play, but I want some tension side to sides to make sure it tracks properly. I kind of get a one nut tightened up just so it has a little bit of friction to hold it when I check my square. Make sure my sled slides. Kind of got it out of whack there, but the square squares it up, and then before I tighten. Definitely want to take your time with this step. It takes a little bit to get it just right. Not too long though. Here I'm kind of playing with the gap for my router sled to make sure it slides. It should slide really, really freely, almost effortless. I check it several times. Just tighten it a little bit as I go. It's pretty important that you have your wheels square to each other. Really makes it slide. See how I'm holding my thumb on the back of that angle? It really makes it stay tight to the table. Check my square. Everything seems to be rolling good. I just tighten a little bit, check my square. Make sure that my sled's still free. You're going to want to remove your factory router plate before affixing our new one. This guy, usually you just find the 3 holes that line up, fits most bases. Like I said earlier, we'll make another video. Just get your 3 screws in there and make sure they're flush. Don't over tighten. Doesn't need to be crazy tight. Make sure your router bit's flush. In this step, we're gonna mount our safety stopper for make sure the router bit doesn't hit our aluminum angle. Last step, guys. You're almost there. There's a Allen head bolt and a 1/4-20 nut that goes into our aluminum spacer. Usually I get it just a little bit tight, and then I set it about an inch from the inside of that slot, roughly. I just get it about there, and I get it a little bit tight, and then I'll make sure that it doesn't impact before I turn the router on. Make sure you got it nice and tight so it stops the router. Pan around here and show you that we got some decent clearance. That's about right. I like having a little extra just to make sure we don't hit. Here you go, guys. Here's the first 2 projects I did when I finished my router slab sled. Hope you guys really enjoy this video, and hopefully you guys pick one of these up. This is the first table I made. Turned out amazingly well for a metal shop guy. Just remember, when you buy this, you guys are supporting American manufacturing and keeping a family here going. So, hope you guys like the product.